Hey, what is up, Bills Mafia? We have 155 days until the Buffalo Bills win Super Bowl 57. And this channel is going to document every single day leading up to that amazing moment with a video. Going live again. What the heck? Why not? Let's do it. I didn't really want to sit there and edit a video all night like I usually do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go live and, let's talk a little football. Not only Bills football, but we're going to talk about the NFL and what we've got going on in the NFL tomorrow. And what's up, Jason Knights? Nice to have you in the house. Looking forward to tomorrow, especially after a Bills win. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get a Bills win, and it just makes watching all the other games that much more interesting, more fun, more relaxing. See what other teams can, do what we already did for the first week in the NFL, and that is get the dub. Get the dub. That's what they say, right? Get the dub. We got the dub. Not only did we get the dub, we just hammered it home that, we are the best team in the NFL right now. I don't think there's very much debate on that. I think most people, it's a consensus that the Bills have the best team in the NFL. So, but anyway, while I've got Jason Knights on here, Jason, just let me know. Everything sound good? Everything look good? I mean, I know I don't have like the most professional setup here, but I just want to make sure that first of all, the music isn't too loud and that I am coming across loud and clear. Just say yeah or nah, thumbs up, I like your mama, something like that. And I'll be happy to know that the stream's coming across good. Back to football tomorrow. Sunday. I love Sunday. Sunday's opening day. You have baseball fans, they are jacked up about, opening day in baseball, which I don't quite understand because they play just so many doggone games, making each individual game like really basically worth nothing. In the NFL, if you don't start out the season with at least one win in the first 3 weeks, then you're like really probably looking at just a dud of a season, which is, what makes football, I think, so special. You look perfect, especially in that jersey. Thank you. Wish my wife would say stuff like that to me. She says, well, I don't want to tell you what she says, but she's a good. I'm kidding. She's a good lady. She's a good lady. She allows me to come down here in my basement and do videos without yelling at me from upstairs to come upstairs and help her with the dishes or whatever. All right, but back to football. First week of the NFL season, I'm going to go through each game and just kind of give you my, semi-educated take on all the games. Maybe you're not a Bills fan. Maybe you tune in here and you're a fan of another team. Chargers, Bengals, Raiders, Cowboys, Eagles, Buccaneers, Cardinals, whatever, and you want to hear what I think about your game coming up tomorrow or Monday. Who's playing Monday? Forget who. We'll get to that in a little bit. But, yeah, so good times, man. Let the good times roll. Looking forward to it. One thing I am very much enjoying is, if you're like me, I've watched highlights of the Bills-Rams game 5 or 6 times. I did a video on it. That was kind of cool. And I'm telling you, man, it is just outrageous how much we just dominated this team. I mean, let's go ahead and talk about the Bills-Rams game again real quick. Just a spectacular performance all the way around. You did have, those few moments of the game where it was kind of leaving us thinking maybe it wasn't going to go quite the way we had hoped. We built that 10-0 lead, and then in a blink of an eye, it was 10-10, and we turned the ball over. But it was just a brief moment of anxiety, I would say, amongst Bills fans because we outplayed them so much in the first half, or the first 20 minutes, that it for the most part was apparent that unless something dramatic happened, unless there's a dramatic change in momentum and play calling on the Rams' part, and it was definitely something that I think we were all confident that the Bills were going to continue to play well and pull that game out, and they ended up playing way, way better in the second half than I think most of us thought. If you're like me, after it was 10-10 at halftime, you were thinking, well, this game might just come down to a last drive, but second half was just absolutely outstanding. And I don't want to rehash it too much, but seeing Von Miller show up like he did, seeing Josh Allen show up like he did, seeing Stefon Diggs show up like he did, and Gabe Davis show up like he did, got solid play from our rookie corners. It was great to see Jalen Ramsey just get absolutely burnt out there. And, we could have scored in the mid-40s. Should have probably scored in the mid-40s. But so that was cool. That was great to see. Great to see. So, and of course, some of the greatest things about that game was seeing Josh Allen doing stuff like this. The stiff arm he threw on poor Mr. Number 33 there. And it's just, Josh Allen is beastie. He is not someone to be messed with. The dude is out to destroy. He's got that killer instinct. And, if you are old enough to remember Trent Edwards and Captain Checkdown, as we used to call him, so many quarterbacks that, played in Buffalo and they continue to play, obviously, in the NFL now that are they're scared. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't really have that it factor like Josh Allen does. I know that some of the quarterbacks that we had that had the it factor but didn't have the physical tools were, I stepped out of the way to show you a picture that wasn't there. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. The Josh Allen stiff arm on number 33. Poor Mr. Number 33. So back to what I was saying, the it factor of Josh Allen. The it factor players that we had that played quarterback were Ryan Fitzpatrick. He definitely was. Doug Flutie had the it factor. And who else was a quarterback that I could say had the it factor? Fitzpatrick. Maybe Drew Bledsoe. It seems like Drew Bledsoe had the physical tools to play, but he did not have that it factor. He almost did. He came, pretty close to becoming a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't know. Will Drew Bledsoe make the Hall of Fame? That's a question. That's a good question. I don't know. That's very debatable whether or not he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's not in the Hall of Fame, is he? I don't want to sound stupid. But, yeah, so Josh Allen has the it factor, and I'm super, super pumped about that. All right, what I want to do is go through the games tomorrow. Just give you my take. And, if you got a take on anything, please let me know. And I would, like to go back and forth with you a little bit. And I've got a comment that says, Josh Allen going to play like 2015 Cam Newton this year. And there is something that is a double-edged sword. Obviously, Cam Newton in 2015 was really good. I don't think he was necessarily as good as many of us remember or think we remember. Because Cam Newton, let's look at his statistics here real quick. Cam Newton stats. If I remember correctly, he did not have a ton of passing yards in 2015. Let's pull this up real quick. I don't know if you can see this or not, but 2015, Cam Newton. He had 3,837 passing yards. Wasn't spectacular. His completion percentage was below 60. And I'm sure, without looking, that he rushed for a nice amount of yardage. Rushing in 2015 for Cam Newton. Yeah, 636 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. So Josh Allen could be like Cam Newton, but I think he is heads and tails better than Cam, will be heads and tails better than Cam Newton in his 2015 campaign. The game's changed a little bit, giving quarterbacks more opportunity to go downfield. You can't touch the quarterbacks now without getting flagged. So that's part of it. Now, one of the things about the comparison to Cam Newton is that we don't want is, Cam Newton is absolutely destroyed. He does not have the ability to play football at a high level like he did, because he just wrecked his body trying to, do all the things that Josh Allen does. And so the ongoing thought is we do not want another Cam Newton 5-6 years from now when it comes to how he has tailed off in his productivity, because he just got, blasted year in and year out running the ball. And that definitely could happen with Josh. So I think Josh is a better passer than Cam Newton was. I think he's a better tacticianer. Does that sound right? Of the game. So I would like to see Josh eventually become more along the lines of Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, guys that even Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't like taking hits, and he's lasted 20 plus years in the NFL. So, yeah, that's what I would like to see. All right, so let's go game by game real quick here. I'm not going to get too deep into these games, but from what I understand about these teams and what I think is going to happen, Chicago Bears and the 49ers. Tomorrow, kickoff at 1 o'clock. The Niners going into Chicago. Chicago they're definitely going to finish at the bottom of the league record-wise. I don't have really any hope for the Bears in probably most of the games that they're going to be playing this year. I mean, quarterback Justin Fields, he might surprise us and, make hay. But honestly, there's so many holes around the Chicago Bears that if they win 3-4 games this year, that'll probably be a bit of, about what you can hope for. So the Niners should go into Chicago, probably blow that team out. I'm looking at maybe 30-10. Don't think Chicago's going to score many points this year. All right, let's continue on down the line here. We've got the Eagles and the Lions. Now, this is an interesting game, for so many people, because the Lions were featured on Hard Knocks. I don't particularly like their coach, Dan Campbell. A lot of people like him. I think he's just too emotional. And anybody on any team or any leader of anything, whether in sports or in a corporation, if they're too emotional, this up and downs and the emotional swings can be too much for, the team behind them. So we'll see how that works out. But I think the Lions at home in this game, this is, I got to imagine the Eagles are the favorite in this game. You got to have, this is one of the upsets that I think we're going to see tomorrow. The Lions, a minor upset. I see the Lions coming out and really playing a rock'em sock'em game, getting after Jalen Hurts Aiden Hutchinson. We'll see what type of game he has, but I bet you he has a big game for a rookie. And I see the Lions pulling this one out like 23-20 in overtime. Does that sound good? 23-20 in overtime. Lock these in. All right, let's move on down the line. Then we have, let's go Steelers and Bengals. This used to be a mark it down on your calendar game. Not anymore. The Steelers are, I guess you can say they're in a rebuild. They are going to be going with Mitchell Trubisky. I think they could do a whole lot worse than Mitchell Trubisky as their starting quarterback. That is for sure. But they're, without Juju Smith-Schuster, I think Deontay Johnson might be injured or questionable tomorrow. But it's not going to matter. The vaunted Steelers defense just is not vaunted anymore. I mean, they do have Craig Hayward? They got Hayward. I'll just say Hayward for now. And he wrecks things in the middle for sure. But the Bengals got too much firepower. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon and T. Higgins. So I see, and it's in Cincinnati. So I see the Cincinnati just kind of blowing the Steelers out of the water tomorrow. I'm going to say like 37-13. I think Mitchell Trubisky is going to have a real bad day. So I'll move on down the line. We got the Patriots and the Dolphins. And this one, of course, is of interest for all us Buffalo Bills fans, wanting to know who, if anybody, might even have a shot at giving us a little bit of a run for our money. A lot of people are saying the Dolphins are going to be good. I've been saying all along, I don't think so. I don't think they have the quarterback. I think Tua T is just, he's below average. I don't think he has the physical tools to sustain a long season. I think he's got, he's good enough to be in the NFL, but I think as a backup quarterback at best, he does have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Everybody's saying that Tyreek Hill is just going to make the biggest difference in Miami. I don't think so. He's got to somehow, some way catch a ball thrown to him by Tua T. So, yeah, I don't see the Dolphins being very good, but I see him being good enough to beat the Patriots, who are absolutely abysmal. The Patriots, God bless them, are now paying the price, paying the piper for being so doggone good for so many doggone years. What's up, Mike Dunn, Bills fan in Baltimore? And what's up, 210? Good to see you. Mike Caney, quick stat. Justin Fields came out of Ohio State. Very few QBs drafted to the NFL from Ohio State make it. I know, and what is up with that? That is so interesting to me. I can't even, there was Krenzel or something like that, and a couple other guys that got drafted, and they just never, ever made it onto a roster. At least they didn't stick around very long. Yeah, 2 or 3 became mediocre. Totally gotcha. And what's up, Kobe Wan? Good to see you. So let's move on. Well, finally the Patriots. They're gonna get beat in this game. I don't think by a ton, because I think the Dolphins again are really kind of a mediocre team themselves, just a little bit better than the Patriots. Let's say the Dolphins win this one 17-10 in a yawner. Browns Panthers. Now here's one of the big games of the day, obviously, because the Panthers now have Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield he's kind of got a punky personality, doesn't he? And he is just going to want to stick it to his old team. He's going to be fired up. I think his teammates will be fired up for him. And the Browns, I don't know what. The Browns are in such disarray that they're kind of a hard team to really peg, because they got good players. Bradley Chubb at running back. They have, of course, Myles Garrett on the defensive side of the ball. I think they have the players. Peoples-Jones is a very good wide receiver. They I'm not sure of some of the other guys they've brought in, but the organization is just not run very well at all. And they make some really poor decisions with their personnel. And they're going to really struggle, I think, for the first, the whole season, really, because Deshaun Watson, he's not coming back in time to make any difference. So, and the Panthers at home, it's probably going to be hot down there. So look for the Panthers to really put a ass spanking on the Browns tomorrow. I'm going to say like 34-14. A lot of blowouts so far. All right, we're going to the Colts and the Texans. We have Colts and Matt Ryan's debut as a Colt, and the Texans, I couldn't name one stinking player on that team. If you saw a video that I released about a week or two ago, I have the Texans finishing 0-17. I could see them losing every single game this year. And I could be wrong because I think the quarterback they have is actually, from what I understand, pretty good. There's some people that think that he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks on the below average teams. But I don't know. I can't see them certainly beating the Colts with, Matt Ryan and the Colts running game. From what I understand, the Colts defense is supposed to be pretty good. So another blowout here. I'm going to say Colts 27, Texans 3. We'll give the Texans 3 points there. All right, moving on. We got the Saints and the Falcons. Man, this is just setting up for another blowout. I mean, the Falcons, from what I understand, are going to be absolutely horrible. I mean, they've got that really good tight end Pitts that does not get into the end zone. He catches everything except for when they get down to the goal line. Their quarterback, who the frick is their quarterback? I'm blanking. Was it Tyrod Taylor? No, or was he with the Texans? Can't remember, but who cares? Going on to the Saints. The Saints are supposed to be really good. They're supposed to have one of the best defenses in the league this year. They have quarterback, what's his name, coming back, the guy that played for Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston. And remember, he had like 35 touchdown passes and 30 interceptions. That was crazy. And then he was actually a Mariota. Thank you. Mariota's with the Falcons. And the Jameis Winston then came back and played pretty doggone well last year until he got hurt. So if he comes back and is playing like he did last year before he got hurt, I think the Saints will be pretty good. Let's have another blowout number here. I think the Saints win this one. It's not going to be like just an absolute smash blowout, but we'll say 27-17 Saints. All right, another interesting game here, the Ravens and the Jets. We got Joe Flacco going back to play his old team. And the Jets, I have a lot of respect for what they did in the offseason. I think they picked up a lot of good players. And then, of course, we got Lamar Jackson and his whole situation with the contract. I mean, they just couldn't come to an agreement. And I'm going to have a little take on that here in a second. But the Jets at home, I think this is going to be hard to call this, man. Really hard to call this. But I'm going to say this is going to be an upset. I can see the Jets beating the Ravens in a close one. We'll say 21-20. Maybe they just hold the Ravens out of the end zone at the end. So Lamar Jackson, he wants money, right? I mean, obviously, he wants the big contract like Josh Allen got, the big contract that Mahomes got. I don't think he is worth that much money. I don't think he has, since his MVP season, where he, had some good passing stats, his MVP season, what really won him that MVP was his rushing the ball. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. And no doubt he deserved that MVP. But since then, it seems as if teams have figured him out a little bit. They kind of try to keep him in the pocket and pass the ball. And he's a good passer. He's accurate, and he completes a lot of passes, but he completes them very short. And a lot of his receivers that he's had, which he hasn't had a ton of good receivers, they take these short passes and they really break some, especially their tight end, Mark Andrews, I think his name is. So is Lamar Jackson worth the type of money he's probably looking for? I say no. I say they let him play out his contract, and I think they're doing a smart thing by saying, hey, this is a show me year. You show us that you're worth Josh Allen money. And it's worked out perfectly for the Ravens. If he has an outstanding season, they'll be willing to pay him that much money and more to keep him around. But they also know that if he doesn't have that type of season, if he doesn't prove it in his final year of his rookie contract, then he will move on. And, and then he'll get some big money possibly from another team that's willing to take not a gamble on him, but are willing to believe that he's going to return to his MVP form from, 2019? You think he wants out 210? He might. All right, so the final score on that game again is, I called it 21-20. So moving on now, we got the Jaguars and the Commanders. And the Commanders at home. Here are two teams I couldn't care less about, quite honestly. I mean, the Jaguars, of course, have Trevor Lawrence, and he's getting his college teammate finally into the lineup, Travis Etienne. And a lot of people are hoping that's going to make a big difference. They went out and they got some, big-name players. Christian Kirk, right? He went to the Jaguars. The Commanders, on the other hand, are led by quarterback. Yeah, we all know that the Commanders are not going to be too good with, his name is escaping me, doggone it, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is going to do what Carson Wentz does. He's going to play okay, and then somewhere along the line, he falls apart. So what do you got here? Commanders at home, Jaguars, who have improved their roster, a fair amount. This has got to be a toss-up. I bet you Vegas has this game by almost a push. I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Jaguars pull it out. Jaguars pull it out in a pretty sloppy game. We'll say that. We'll say that Trevor Lawrence kind of shows everybody that he could be a top quarterback. 28-16 Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, 4 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Travis Etienne. How about that? All right, Packers and Vikings. This is going to be an interesting little ditty here. The Vikings are kind of like a chameleon team to me. Like, they can be really good and then they can be really bad. And Kirk Cousins, man, he's just like always on the he's just always right there, the tip of our tongue. We want to say that he's, an elite quarterback, and then he has a game like he had against the Bills. What was it, in Josh Allen's rookie season? He just looks terrible. But he definitely has the ability, the tools to lead a team. And I heard somebody say that they had a prediction that he would be the MVP. Who was it? It was someone from Good Morning Football. So Kirk Cousins, the Vikings go as far as Kirk Cousins goes, and I think he's going to have a Kirk Cousins type of season, some success there, have some big games, struggle in some others. The Packers are the team that to me are really a mystery, because you have Aaron Rodgers. Of course, he's won the last 2 MVPs. It is Aaron Rodgers. I like his commercials, if anything else, about Aaron Rodgers. I really enjoy watching the what do you call it, the insurance commercials, especially the one where he's throwing axes against the board, and he just totally screws up the throw. It's like the the handle of the axe hits the board instead of the blade, and he points. All right, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. So Aaron Rodgers, he's lost his top receiver, Devontae Adams. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he is gone. They brought in, gosh, who did they bring in? Like, I don't think anything of significance. So they're hoping that, it'll be a type of season Aaron Rodgers can just lead the charge with some of the, was it Kyle Brandt? Okay. You're very good, Kobe. It was Kyle Brandt that said Kirk Cousins was going to become the MVP, be the MVP this year. So I'm betting against the Packers this season. I don't think they're going to be very good. I think Aaron Rodgers has kind of burned some bridges with management there. I think he became kind of a prima donna quarterback. I mean, I don't think he is. He definitely is. And the Vikings, like I said, they can play some good football. So, of course, with their wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, that dude is just awesome. We got Stephon Diggs in a trade with the Vikings, and we just wanted to win that trade, which we did great in that trade. But with that pick that we, gave Minnesota for Stephon Diggs, they took Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson is arguably, I'm gonna say it. He's arguably, people can argue the point that Justin Jefferson is better than Stephon Diggs. Oh, I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it. But, I mean, who would you want on the Bills? Justin Jefferson or Stephon Diggs? It's a tough call. It's a really tough call. Anyway, back to the game. I see the Vikings winning this one, and I see them winning it, pretty good. We're gonna say 27-20. They're gonna beat the Packers to go 1-0. Moving on, the Giants and the Titans. Not too interested in this game at all, but, well, you know what? I am interested in it. And you know why? I apologize. I'm interested in it because this is the Bills' next opponent, and I just cannot wait to see what this team looks like. Not that they could show me anything against the Giants that's going to make me think that the Bills can't contend. And not contend. But Buffalo's going to crush the Titans when they come into town next Monday. I mean, that is just going to be another. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Titans and the Giants. The Giants are supposed to be absolutely abysmal. They got Daniel Jones, and it doesn't look like he's the answer in New York. I'll never forget when he was running down the field for a touchdown and tripped and fell, and that's been his career, kind of. He just, as soon as he gets started, he trips himself up. The Titans, from what I understand, they have Ryan Tannehill, solid quarterback. Of course, Derrick Henry, and he is a power runner, but you need to have a whole lot more on your team than that to win in the NFL these days. A power running game just is not enough. They got the rookie wide receiver Treylon Burks, right? Treylon Burks, and of course they lost A.J. Brown. So it's going to be interesting to see how the new look Titans come out and play. They're going to beat the Giants. That's not going to be a problem. At home should not be a problem at all. But I don't think it's going to be apparent that the Titans are going to be good this year. They weren't good last year. I don't even know how they got the number 1 seed. So we'll say the Titans will pull this one out. I bet you it's going to be kind of a wild game. I'm going to say 30-23. Somehow, some way, the Giants get 23 points on the board. I think most of them are going to be from turnovers or just mistakes by the Titans to set the Giants up. So we're going to go with 30-23. Is what I think I said. All right, one of the big games, probably the biggest game tomorrow, I think. The Chargers and the Raiders. So this is, if you remember, if you saw it, I had a video about 2.5 months ago. It was kind of a funny little tongue-in-cheek take on who's better between Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. And I did this analysis and I crunched numbers and I used a formula that I didn't really have, but I made it up. And a lot of Charger fans got really bent out of shape over it because, of course, Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert, and I made sure that everybody knew that at the end of the video by giving him a higher score than Justin Herbert. And it was funny. It was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. You guys should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. And it got a ton of views. But it pumped me up because, first of all, a lot of Charger fans flooded into the channel to give me grief. Second, I'm like, where do Charger fans come from? First of all, they leave San Diego, right? They leave San Diego high and dry. They move to LA. And I guess there are a number of Charger fans in LA that suddenly, jumped on the Charger bandwagon. It's with the LA Rams and the LA Chargers. I have just so little respect for fan bases because, as you saw in the game on Thursday night, 25% of that stadium was filled by Bills fans. So what kind of fan base do they have in LA for really any of their sports teams? I mean, they leave at halftime. It's not like, Buffalo, where we live and die for football, right? I mean, football is everything. Some of us, unfortunately, some of us here in Buffalo, I believe, would sell their kids for a Super Bowl championship. I really believe it. They would sell their children, and worse, to get a Super Bowl championship. I know, because I tried, and apparently it's illegal. But I don't appreciate a fan base that doesn't at least think about selling their children for a championship. Okay, so anyway, looking forward to seeing how this pans out with my little video and back and forth with some of these Charger fans, because I 100% believe that Josh Allen is like a lot better than Justin Herbert. But Justin Herbert's very good. He's very good. Now he's going up against a Raiders team that has done a good job did a great job in the offseason of picking up some really good star players. Of course, they got Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. Is that it? Chandler Jones, the defensive end. And I think they're going to be really good. They were really good last year. And I think they're going to be better this year with Derek Carr. And I think they have a pretty good defense. But this game in LA against the Chargers is going to be smoke. It is going to be a really, really good game. I think it's going to be possibly the best game of the first week of the season. So I'm going to say this one's going to be just a barn burner. Let's say that the Chargers pull it out. I think the Chargers pull it out 38-35. Might even say that they win it in overtime. 38-35 Chargers. Okay, let's move on. We got the Cardinals and the Chiefs. Another game where it's just kind of like, who are these teams now? Of course, the Cardinals lost Christian Kirk. They have a quarterback who is like really having problems. I guess he doesn't like to study the playbook or study film or whatever. And I could tell, I can really tell. You can really kind of gauge a guy the way he acts when he's on the field or, in interviews. It just doesn't look like he has much else on his mind except himself. Of course, I guess he did not want to go back into a playoff game, if I remember that correctly, and that is just pathetic. So, yeah, Kyler Murray is going to be a problem in Arizona from here on out. I bet you anything he's not with the Cardinals in 3 years. The Chiefs, man, who are the Chiefs going to be this season? I suspect a slide from the Chiefs. Not major. They're still going to be a playoff team possibly, although if you saw my playoff predictions, you saw that I left them out of the playoffs for 2022. But Patrick Mahomes has got, new guys around him. Some people say he's got better weapons, even though Tyreek Hill is gone. And I will argue that, debate that, and refute that, because if you're saying that Sammy Watkins, they have Sammy Watkins? Do they have Sammy Watkins again? But they have Valdez Scantling. He's a good receiver, but he's not, he's not like great. I'm sorry, I gotta look this up. I don't want to sound like a fool. Sammy Watkins. No, I'm sorry. He went to the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, and that's the point I wanted to make about the Packers. They've got Sammy Watkins, and that's not going to be much of a difference there. Yeah, so the Chiefs don't even have Sammy Watkins. They are struggling with, I think they're going to struggle without Tyreek Hill, and they are a good football team, but I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last season. The Cardinals, however, I think they're going to be somewhat of a disaster this year with everything going on there. So look for the Chiefs to go in there and put a thumping on the Cardinals. I'm going to say 40-12. And everybody's going to come away saying, see, Steve, the Chiefs are for real. But I don't think they're not going to be able to sustain that. All right, so we got the Buccaneers and Cowboys. This was the kickoff game. Was it last year? Right? Or the year before? Can't remember. But the Cowboys and the Buccaneers, this is always a classic game. Of course, 67-year-old Tom Brady going up against Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons and, the running back that does this after he finishes running the ball. I'm forgetting his name, but the Cowboys are going to be good. The Cowboys, they should be good, right? They have the roster, but it's whether or not they get the coaching that they need to, do what they got to do. Now, the Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, you always have to give them, the nod to be good when you have Tom Brady. And they have a lot of weapons, and the Bucs defense is really good. So I think these are two solid teams. Ezekiel Elliott, could not remember his name. Ezekiel Elliott. So this is going to be, I think, possibly a preview of the NFC Championship game. I would imagine a lot of people would agree with that. Cowboys, Buccaneers in Dallas. I do believe that the Cowboys are going to get to Tom Brady enough to walk away with this one victorious. We're going to say the Cowboys 29, Cowboys 29, Buccaneers 23. Yeah. And here is a massive Monday night game, not because the teams are so equally matched, but of course, obviously, because you have Russell Wilson going up against his old team, and it'll be at home. The Seahawks will be home, and this is just massive. Just of all the matchups that we could have for the first week of the season, and I'm sure the NFL very well could have, pulled some strings behind the scenes to make this happen. I don't know how they do the schedule, but I got to imagine they try to plan this. And having Russell Wilson going into Seattle to play the Seahawks are definitely on the downtrend, although I still love a lot of the players they have. Tyler Lockett, and I love DK Metcalf. I really wish the Bills had somehow been able to get him. But the Seahawks are going to struggle at the quarterback position. I don't know even who it's going to be under center. Is it Locke? Drew Lock? Is he going to be starting tomorrow? So although the Broncos with Russell Wilson, they're not going to come charging out of the gate. I mean, you have to play with a team, with an offensive coordinator in a system for a while to start getting efficient. So I think that possibly the Broncos are going to struggle in this game. And we're looking at, a closer game than I think maybe a lot of people are going to think. But let's give the Broncos a 26-20 win over the Seahawks. And what's up, Jets Chaos? Appreciate that. It was all right. It was all right. We played okay on Thursday night. I will have to agree with you on that. And in case you missed it there, Mr. Jets Chaos, if you see behind me by the way, Jets Ravens, I am picking the Jets to beat the Ravens in a close one. I think I said it was 21-20. But you guys are pumped up there in New Jersey, and yeah, we're pumped up here in Buffalo. So that's my look at the first week of the season. I played this already during my live stream during the Bills game, but I'll play it again right here just to add a little bit more to this stream. Here are my playoff predictions for 2022. So let's get started in the NFC first. The 7th seed, I see the Vikings just squeaking into the playoffs. And the 6th seed, I see the San Francisco 49ers going up to the 5th seed now. And the 5th seed, I see the Philadelphia Eagles, who are highly touted going into this season, getting that. I see the Buccaneers, the first division winner, and the 4th seed, and the Cowboys coming in with the 3rd seed overall, winning the NFC East. And the 2nd seed for the NFC, I see the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, you cannot count him out. And the number 1 seed for the NFC is, yes, the LA Rams. Okay, let's go over to the AFC now and see how I see this one breaking down. In the 7th seed, I see the New York Jets. Yes, I see the Jets getting into the playoffs. The 6th seed, Russell Wilson will lead the Broncos into the playoffs. And the 5th seed, I have it, the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they got enough there to make some noise this year. The 4th seed, the first division winner, is the Colts. The 3rd seed, the LA Chargers. And the 2nd seed, I've got the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, indeed. And the 1st seed in the AFC, of course, is going to the Buffalo Bills, of course. And if you have noticed, I do not have the Kansas City Chiefs making the playoffs, nor do I have the Baltimore Ravens making the playoffs. All right, let's go to the playoffs. This is how I see the games breaking down. Let's do scores, too. Why not? It's just all for fun. I see the Cowboys winging a squeaker against the San Francisco 49ers, getting revenge for the debacle last season against them. And then the Packers just blowing out the Vikings 31-13. Eagles Buccaneers game, I have the Eagles pulling it out in a dramatic game, 23-20. Jalen Hurts winning his first playoff game. The Packers Cowboys classic. The Packers will pull it out at home at Lambeau Field, 34-21. And the Eagles and the Rams. This one goes to the Rams. I see them just taking care of business. Jalen Hurts, a little too big for him. 38-19, the Rams will win, which of course sets up an NFC championship game between the Rams and the Packers. And I have the LA Rams pulling this one out 26-21 at home. It'll be quite a game, no doubt about it. All right, let's go over the AFC playoffs. First up, we have the Raiders and Colts. The Raiders will easily take care of business, 37-7. The Chargers against the Broncos. Will Russell Wilson win a playoff game in Denver? Nope. Chargers take care of business, 35-14. And then we have the Jets and Bengals. Can the Jets pull off the upset? No. The Bengals handle the Jets easily, 21-3. And then, of course, we go to the divisional round, and we've got the Chargers against the Bengals. Oh, it's going to be cold in Cincinnati. Shades of the old freeze game they had there a number of decades ago. And the Chargers will pull this one out 16-14 in a defensive struggle. Then the Bills' first playoff game will be against the Raiders. Is it going to be 51-3? Not quite, but they will win 44-24, which sets up a AFC Championship game between the Bills and the Chargers. Josh Allen against Justin Herbert. Josh Allen prevails, beating the Chargers 32-23, setting up a rematch of tonight's game, the Bills and the Rams in Super Bowl 57. And you all know who's going to win this one as well as I do, but it's going to be a pretty good game. But the Bills will prevail. Josh Allen, the MVP of this one, in a 37-24 Super Bowl victory for the Buffalo Bills. And that's how I see the playoffs shaking down next January and February 12. Yeah, boy. All right, so there you go. I did that, of course, a couple nights before our Thursday night matchup with the Rams, and nothing has changed since then. In fact, I might have to pump our winning score in the Super Bowl up a little more, and now I'm wondering if the Rams actually have what it takes to make the Super Bowl. But I will say this. I'm going to, of course, hold myself accountable for those predictions and also the Week 1 score predictions and see how close I get. See how many I get right. I'll keep a running tally of how well I do all season long to see if, maybe you should bet a couple dollars on each and every game according to what this old guy, middle-aged guy in his basement has to say. All right, so that is it. Week 1 tomorrow. I am looking forward to it. Football is king. It is all I really think about day in and day out. Of course, the Bills are another 8 days away from their next game, which is agony. I just want to see them play tomorrow. Can they play the last 16 games like 16 days in a row? That would be terrible. We would not do well. All right, thanks so much for sticking around and watching me, listening to what I have to say about Week 1 in the NFL, participating, commenting, and having some pity on this old guy. So, enjoy the games tomorrow and Monday, and I will see you tomorrow.